Welcome to Surf Drive. Today we're looking at the Volkswagen Touraeg, and we've taken this V6 diesel version several thousand kilometres through New South Wales.
It's been quite an extensive road test, and I've got to say it's one of my personal favourites. This really is a monster of a vehicle.
The great thing about it is we had this car for, let's say, a week or so before we took it to the country, and just driving it around the city, it was wonderful to drive. Literally a pleasure to drive in every aspect. Obviously it's a four-wheel drive, so you do have to step up and things like that, but if you're looking for a car that sits high off the ground and drives beautifully around the city and has space for, you know, 5 adults, I'd say easy, and good luggage space, then this fits the bill. But taking it out to this region in New South Wales that we are in is a whole different ballgame. This, as you said, does step up. It just shows that this car has tremendous capabilities, both on-road and off-road. Quickly talking about where we've been and what we've done, we based ourselves around Walker Road, and we took the Oxley Highway, which flows from sort of Tamworth, the New England Highway, up to the Pacific Highway to Port Macquarie.
Back to the coast, essentially.
Now, there's some. I wanted to bring you here because there's some wonderful curvy roads there, and I think, despite the fact this is not a sports car, it felt great through those corners. There's so many things to talk about when we got there at night.
Where do you start? You're right.
We drove back along that road at night, and you noticed immediately one amazing thing.
It was bizarre because as the lights started to fade, you obviously have your headlights on, and as I was driving through these twisty paths, I noticed what I thought to be the headlights bending around corners. And we've of course heard about this feature before. It's where the headlights swivel and point around corners, giving you tremendous vision.
I could see it, but I couldn't believe it. So we put the camera on the headlight while we drove, and you should be able to see in this vision. We've sped it up a bit so that you can really see the movement of the iris. I call it the iris.
Well, it's like a pair of human eyes looking side to side.
And it just moves from side to side, and then hopefully in the vision that we've taken at night time, you can sort of see it go around the corners. An amazing feature, which it's sort of going to be hard to live without now.
That's right, and we think, well, it is part of the option that you get with the vehicle we're driving. It's an $8,000 option which gets you the air suspension, which we'll talk about in a moment, and the xenon headlights.
Let's talk about the car we're driving. It's about $75,000 at base, the V6 TDI. This car, as tested, has a black metallic paint. There's a couple of grand there, sunroof, a couple of grand there, and the air suspension or pneumatic suspension package, which comes with the bug lights, and that's about $8 grand. So it takes it up to an $87,000 car plus on road. Now, that's a lot of money, but I'm telling you, you get absolutely everything for your money. You're talking wonderful heated seats, good stereo system. It's a boring dashboard with really plain rectangular buttons everywhere, and it does take a while to find out what they all do and how they all work. But leaving that aside and leaving the boring design of the absolute centre console, the dashboard itself is well designed, well presented. It's easy to read. It's very easy to read at night. The computer for the multifunction display is brilliant. It's really easy to use. It's like a little laptop screen, and you can show your consumption, your range, your route, synth refueling, synth starting, all these different things. Look, I think it's not the best trip computer in the world, but it's worked well. The number one thing about this car I love, and it's a Volkswagen thing, but it's at its best application of this car, cruise control.
Cruise control.
You set cruise control, and it tells you on the screen what you set. Now that's not so it says 101 right now, for example. And then if I flick it up, I can go up by 10 kilometres an hour, it'll go up to 111. I can go back by 10 kilometres, back to 91. I can go up by 1 kilometre and down by 1 kilometre increments. It's really, really handy to have that definite control of the cruise control, and I think it's a wonderful cruise control.
It is nice. The cabin itself, the fit and finish in this vehicle is extraordinary, really. Everything is lined up perfectly. We've got quality walnut wood effects here and the aluminium highlights, which just looks so nice. There's not too much wood. I think it's done quite nicely. And, you know, everything just oozes quality, as they often do in these types of European vehicles.
Before we talk about going off-road, driving this on the road, in the city and on the freeway, absolutely wonderful. The air suspension, just to try and sum it up, you've got cylinders of air, compressed air, inside the wheel arches, which basically, when you choose different settings, it pumps air in and expands it and lifts the car off and drops the car down.
Well,
very simple terms.
From 160 mil at what they call load level, right up to 300 mil at extra off-road level.
You're talking 15 centimetres, basically.
It's a fair whack.
It's a stack. And
I mean, you'll see it in the video right here. You can see just how high it goes.
Standing next to you, you can see it goes up a whole arm length. Also, you just look at the movement in the car, and we can speed it up. You just can't. It's absolutely staggering how much the car moves. Now that seems like you know, a toy really, but when you put it in application in sport mode, the car's lowered, and through corners it's actually really beautiful to drive. Put it in comfort mode, which raises the car, and it's bouncy, it's a little bit floaty, it's a completely different feel.
Back to the engine itself, as it says, the V6 turbo diesel, it's pumping out 175 kilowatts of power. Thankfully for the torque, that's the issue here, 500 of newtons meters, which is just, you really notice that off-road. There's plenty of torque. Who's meters? Newtons.
Okay, I'd call it 500 newton meters of torque, but leaving that aside, it's unbelievable. The power, you put your foot down in this thing and it just goes. It's brilliant. There is that normal lag, which is a bit of a sort of turbo diesel thing, but when you put your foot down, it goes for you. The V6 turbo diesel, like you feel like you're in a diesel four-wheel drive, you're not going to have any power. This thing is powerful.
It's not blistering off the mark. It's good for 0 to 100 in about 8.9 seconds, but it's that roll-on acceleration. Once you get moving, it is so punchy.
This is where I just get a bit nervous talking about the off-road capability of the car. We'd never driven off-road before, and we thought, you know what?
We're amateurs.
We're idiots. We got a map. We went, that's an unsealed road, and up ahead there's a four-wheel drive road.
So he got the map. I played that responsibility this time.
We drove the unsealed road, and it was working beautiful. We've had some ridges and things. We've filmed that. You'll see those here. And at one point on the two-way, you said to me, "Is that road closed ahead?" I said, "I think so."
That was closed.
We drove ahead. The bridge was
not only was it closed, the bridge was out of action. In fact, the bridge was full of holes.
Bridge over a flowing creek. Now, immediately, I saw tyre tracks down to the creek. I thought, well, hang on a minute. This has got to be four-wheel drive tested. So we've driven down to the creek. You've rightly waded across and decided that it wasn't deep. It was 50, 60 centimetres.
That's the responsible thing to do. You wade first.
Exactly. And all the manuals and everything he told us, 50 odd centimetres was the way. So we took it up to extra level, complete extreme height, and I gave it a whirl. I got across, and it was unbelievable. It's an absolute adrenaline rush.
You should have beat his face, though.
I was so nervous in my life, and getting out, I think I needed to sit for a couple of minutes before I could compose myself. The problem was, at the other side of the creek, there was a large hole and a rock, and we were sort of either side of it with the car, so that was probably the worst part. Anyway, so we loved it, we moved on, we drove ahead. We came across logs and vines across the road, we cleared those, we drove through, driving over things and around things. It was pretty unbelievable.
And then this happened. We've covered creeks, but we can't cover this. This is endgame.
So we had to turn around. We were basically trapped. We couldn't go any further north. There was no roads that went anywhere else apart from back to the water. So we got back to the water.
Fateful water crossing. But you know what? At the end of the day, you need to put aside the fact that we are inexperienced. This water crossing probably wasn't that big a deal.
No, there's four drive people looking at us saying, "You're idiots." That's nothing. But I'm telling you, for the average Joe, approaching a body of water that's 30 to 50 centimetres deep.
That is flowing at a fair rate.
Flowing at a fair rate to knock you over. Loose rocks, not stones, big rocks underneath the water. That was scary stuff. So we took a lot of time. We set the camera up and took a lot of time with this one and sort of really determined where each wheel would go. We took a different angle on approach. And it was unbelievable. It was so easy to do. Again, an absolute narrow rush, and we drove it. It was brilliant. Look, one other little thing I didn't mention with the lights. It freaked me right out. And I'll admit now that I do eat McDonald's, and there's no problem there. Driving through a McDonald's drive-through, okay?
Three Big Macs coming your way.
I don't like Big Macs. I'm turning left and right through this drive-through. I'm thinking, what's going on? It's all lit up. This thing has coring lights. Now again, people look at us and go,
this is separate from the swivelling lights we were talking about earlier.
This is
they come at low speed.
Most people haven't seen. And when you're at low speed and you turn the wheel past a certain angle, a light turns on over and shines to the side, basically. Because it knows you're basically turning full
at a 90-degree angle.
Unbelievable. And it really is helpful. And it doesn't flash off, it just fades off. It's a wonderful little thing. And it's those little things. It's the turning lights at high speed. It's the cornering lights. It's the simple cruise control functions. It's all those little...
And my favourite, the double sun visors.
It's all those little things that make that $87,000 every cent. Now, take away the air suspension and the sunroof, and you're still at 77 or so.
Exactly.
Completely drive. If you're not going to go off-road, don't get the air suspension. It's a bit of fun, but don't get it. And this is their best-selling model, the V6 TDI. We will drive in the next couple of weeks the V10. It will be unbelievable.
It's got another step up.
But, in terms of what this is, it is beautiful to drive. It is beautifully fitted out. It has every feature and function you could want.